Now you have to start before I make funny faces. Now we're live, so you can't get me bored.
I gotta share it so people see it.
Who's watching? Oh yeah, that's. Well, you didn't pop up as
I gotta get this so I can be out of it. Back to my verse. Alright, sorry about that, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Do You Really Know God live version. Sorry, a couple weeks we have not had a episode. We've been having slight technical difficulties, plus Devin's been off to God duty for the last 2 weeks. So tonight we got guest host Michaela Bisson, Devin's wife, because Devin's still off at God duty.
And I'm always going to be better at this than he will, so we won't go too much on that.
I don't know. She's
Hi,
more
Cindy.
augmentative.
Because I got an opinion.
Alright, we're going to start off with John 17, 20 through 21. My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message. That's all of them may be one. Father, just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. Today's episode, we're going to talk about judging. What it looks like as far as in the Bible and being a Christian about judging. There is a lot of judging that goes on in the world, and there's a lot of judging that should be a little bit more frowned upon in the world, because it is said in the Bible that the only true judge in the world is God himself. And a lot of people on this earth feel the need to judge in their way. And I see a lot more judging in the religious world than outside
Right.
the religious world.
And I completely agree on that. That is why I have such a hard time getting to church now, because I feel like Christians are the most judgmental people there are.
I don't know if I'd say Christians in general, but Christians, Catholics are very judgmental. Who's worse? I've seen a lot in both different ways.
Right.
Actually, in Jehovah's Witness, I've also seen a lot of heavy judging.
But I feel like one second they're telling you not to drink and not to get tattoos or not to have sex out of wedlock, and they go and show to church on Sunday and look like all this perfect Christian, and then walk the next day Monday and they're doing crap.
Yeah. And I see that a lot of. Hi, Judy. I see a lot of different things too. Like you said, like churches themselves. Churches themselves. You grew up in a church setting.
Right.
They judge people whether or not you can be a member. You are judged on what your lifestyle is, which I find very anti-religion.
Right.
Because you should not allowed to be a member of the church or in the church just because you're not married,
Right.
or just because you do drugs,
or just because you drink alcohol.
Or you're gay. My thing is if you are a sinner of any of those things in the Bible, like you're gay, you're having sex out of wedlock, you have a drug problem, you are a sinner. You need the church more
Right.
than anybody. So you should be the people that, me, if I had a church, you would be my first members.
Right. I'd be reaching for you because you need me to reach for you to realize what the Bible is saying.
Exactly. And the churches and Christians and Catholics, and I'm going to base this on all religions, they tend to judge you just because of certain things. I've never seen it until I came down south, but I've heard about it. Like down here, you have black churches.
Yep.
Where only blacks are allowed. I don't never seen anywhere in the Bible where it says anything about color, not to preach to other colors.
Right.
I've never seen anything that went to say that, oh, we're only going to preach to blacks, or we're only going to preach to boys, or we're only going to preach to Jews.
Right.
The message was from Jesus was you preach to all creatures, not certain creatures, not certain colors, not certain races or religions.
Right.
You preach to all who will listen. And I see so much judging, and it actually breaks my heart, the judging that I see. Also in the church community, like, I don't see it in a lot of, like, what is it? Christian churches, what is it, new denominations.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it as much to where you can show up to church in anything you wear. It
Right.
doesn't matter. A lot of churches, like Catholics or like Baptists,
Mm-hmm.
you have to dress up to go to church.
Right.
And you're going to be in a suit. So to me, that's a form of judging is, oh, you're not dressed up, you shouldn't be here. And
Right.
if I walked into like a Catholic church
Or even Baptist.
or Baptist, if I walk in like I do into Rockfish or Manor Church, dressed like this in my work clothes,
It's gonna be frowned upon.
everybody turns and looks at you like,
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing here?
When we went to that Baptist church for that Christmas Eve service,
Yes.
everybody was dressed up. Everybody was all
Except
nice.
for me.
And Christy and Devin and everybody. But I knew that's the kind of church they were, so I sat there and I wore a dress. But everybody looked at you guys like,
What
are you doing here looking like that?
And see, I will walk into any church like that because you know what? God accepts me for who I am.
Right.
God is not about my clothes. He ain't even about my skin. God is about my soul.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you show on the outside, it's what's on the inside.
I also think that churches should not judge upon clothing and all that so much because I feel like church should be a home. It should feel as a safe spot. It should feel like you are the most welcomed at church.
Yeah. And everywhere where you see, and we're talking about is judging and being judged upon. And it actually reminds me of the Guns N' Roses song. What is it? The long-haired freaky people need not apply. What is the song? But he talks about how he jumps a fence and they told him to get off his get off the lawn, and he's like, what gives you the right to put up a fence to keep me out or to keep animals in? And then he goes to apply for a job, and he pulls off his hat and he has long hair, and they said no, long hair freaky people need not apply. And then he says, well, finally I went to a church and they handed me a paper saying God loves you, or something like that in a song, saying that you're always welcome. That's how churches should be.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you look like, what you wear. Personally, if you are a sinner and you're a known sinner, like say you have a drug issue, or you have marital issues, or say you have any type of issues, lying issues, you should be at the church first, and the church should be to you first and say, hey, look, you need to become a member. You need to be here every Sunday. You need to let me love on you and teach you about the God, about the Bible, and about what lifestyle to live.
Because the people that we are pushing away, because they are being judged so much, they're the ones who are straying so far away because
Nobody will help them.
Exactly. They come to church and everybody judges them and says, oh, you can't be a member because of what you're doing in your life. But you should be reaching out to them to include them so then they don't feel
Left out.
disbarred. And they need to feel that connection because they are seeing, oh, this is the way I am treated in this church. Why would I ever want to go in any other place?
Yep.
Because that is how I was treated.
Yeah, exactly. And like a lot of churches, they say, oh, you can't be a member, but you can still come. But
Right.
it's not the same.
But you're not a part of
You
something.
don't feel, exactly, you don't feel a part because you can't join any of the groups that they have. You don't feel a part. You don't get everything like a member actually gets.
Right. You don't get to be a part of small groups. You don't get to be part of the children's church. You don't. A church is something you need to be included in
Yes.
and feel involved. And when you are not a member and they are excluding you from that, you are not a part of it and you are missing something.
Exactly. And I know this for a fact because I've seen, well, myself, because I'm not married. And we went to the church, and because we were not physically married, even though we was together for 20 years, we were told, hey, you can come all you want, but you can't be a member. Sorry.
Right.
And yeah, we still went to the church mainly for the kids because the kids were members and they let the kids become a member, but it's not the same.
Right.
And I'm a strong believer that as God's children or God's prophets, God's teachers, we need to seek these people out and get them back into the church.
Right.
Get them as a member. Get them enrolled. You know what? I know like a lot of people, we could clean up their lives if they could join like the worship team.
Right.
If they could join the...
Because music is people's lives. Sometimes to show them what a good way to bring them into the Bible and show them what it's about and how it is to bring them in doing something they love.
Yeah.
And if singing or playing guitar or doing something like that is something you love, you will learn the Bible and what it's about 10 times faster than if you sit in a sermon. Because I'm not going to sit in a sermon sometimes and get everything. Because my dyslexia and ADHD, I'm like, woo, woo, woo. And I get distracted. But music is a passion for me.
Music will...
Exactly. So when I listen to the lyrics, I could get chills up and down me because music is my thing. And I interpret music so well.
Yes. And that's true. And it may not even be music. Some people...
Our kids.
Some people are just to be able to be with a small group of people.
Ministering to others.
I know, like, there's so many people that it could really help and they don't... Like, I've talked to so many people... I talk to people every day about religion.
Right.
And I've talked to so many people who are very religious or spiritual, but they don't go to church. And every time I talk to them of why they don't go to church, because they say either they feel out of place, or they feel judged, or they feel unwelcomed.
Exactly.
This girl who used to clean floors for us used to go to a certain church. And she made a mistake, and she admits it. She cheated on her husband, and her husband was divorcing her. Now, her and her husband went to the same church for, she said, about 15 years. And then when that happened, and she said it was a mistake, she actually came clean to him, said, hey, look, I cheated on you. He decided to divorce her, don't want to have to try and work it out. He said, well, then we'll get divorced. She said she's tried to keep going to that church, and everybody that she used to hang around with and do stuff with all kind of looked at her weird and did her weird. And then when she tried to join to help a certain group, they said, yeah, we don't need help or something like that. So she felt basically shunned away. Those are not the people we shun away. Those are the people we pull in. Hey, you made a mistake in life, but here's how we correct it. Here's how we move forward. Here's what the next step is. And this is what it looks like. Because bottom line, you commit adultery on your spouse, say, it's a forgivable sin. God will forgive you of that sin. I mean, David had at least known in the Bible 7 wives. They say he really had close to numbers of 15, 16, but they only talk about the wives in the Bible of the ones that he had kids with.
Right.
So here's a guy who God picked as a king. God made him a king. I don't know about you, but having 7+ wives is a sin. He's a sinner. But that was accepted because God picked him. If God can accept that, he can accept our sins. And Jesus Christ also said, all your sins are forgivable. We talked about the last episode, the only unforgivable sin is not believing and accepting God. It's the only thing that you can't be forgiven of. Because you can't be forgiven by somebody who you don't accept. But any other sin is forgivable. But bottom line is, when we die, there's only one true judge.
Right.
And that's God himself. And he's going to judge us, and he's going to make us pay for our sins. That's a guarantee. It says in the Bible, when we die, we're going to be judged, we're going to be punished, we're going to be tried, and then we're going to move on to the heavenly gates.
Exactly.
So we're just going to have to put up with our punishments when we die. We don't need to have to go through judgment when we live.
Exactly, because it's nobody's right to judge anybody. It is not your right to sit here and judge people who have cheated, who have sex out of marriage, who have stolen, who are doing drugs. That is not your place. As a human being, it is not your place.
And you don't know their whole walk of life. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they've been through. The only one that does, other than them, is God himself.
Exactly. And people also are so focused on everybody's past. Like, what has happened before they changed their life. They ask, oh, did you commit a crime? Yes, but I was going through something. This is what happened. But now everyone's so focused on the crime that they committed that he can't move further in life.
Yes. And that's 100% true. And we don't know what they're going through. Like, I've actually talked to, this was years ago, a girl who used to come to the shop, my shop up in Connecticut. She's a prostitute. And she used to tell all whenever she came in. And I just curious one day, I'm like, do you like what you do? And she said, no. And I said, well, why do you do it? And she said, she dropped out of school young. She molested and raped as a kid. She dropped out of school young. She ran away from home. She lived on the street. Nobody would hire her because she had no education.
Yeah.
And then she wound up having 2 kids out of wedlock from 2 different baby daddies who disappeared on her. And she said it's the only way she knows how to survive, to support her kids. Because the state wouldn't help her, the government wasn't going to help her. So it's the only way that she knew how, and nobody helped her to get on the right path. It was the only way she knew how to make money to pay her bills and to give her kids a good life and put food on the table. I wound up getting her set up with a pastor. Well, it wasn't a pastor. It was more of a, it was a Christian, like, help program.
Right.
That also came to the shop all the time. I got her set up with them, and last I knew, I mean, it's been a couple of years, they got her into the church, into a program, and got her off the street. So, well, she was never on the street, she had an apartment, but got her out of her profession and into another profession in help so she could get her life straight. Which is something that we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be taking these people, like this poor girl. She didn't like what she's doing. She didn't want to do what she's doing. She just had no other way out. She had no other choice, and nobody was helping her to the avenue. Because I got her set up with this other church group that was there to help people get off the streets. They helped her. They moved forward. They got her through programs to get her some extra income. They got her a job, a legal job. And they helped her get through and build her way up. Last I knew, she's actually married now. And she's actually doing good, and she's actually on the right path, and she's clean.
But that's
which is good.
Right.
But you need help.
Exactly. That's also why we took in my friend and her 2 kids. Is because I just felt on my heart as a Christian and a believer, and I felt a tug, like, hey, I should be doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I know what is going on, what she's doing, but she's on the street with 2 kids under the age of 4, and she needs help.
Yeah.
And so I opened my doors, I came and picked her up, but the thing was she needed help that I could not give her.
Well, the problem with her is she needed help that you need multiple people to give, but on top of it, she needs to be ready to accept it. And she was obviously not ready to accept it. And that's the other thing, is everybody's going through a different stage of life. And you've got to be able to be ready for the change that's coming.
You have to accept and humble yourself to the new change that's about to come in your life.
But with that coming, you need to be around people that is looking to mindset you different. And that's one thing where the church needs to get better at and stop judging these people and stop going out there and you know what? I bet you if this girl had like maybe a church near her where like members would go out of their way and say, "Hey, how's it going? Lord is with you," and just start talking to her every day like a human being, and teaching her a little bit on the streets about the Lord.
Right.
Maybe she'd be a little curious of what is this all
What's
about
going
now.
on?
Then she'll go get into a building. Once you get her in the church building, you can start really teaching her and
Right.
loving on her. Then she's gonna want to change.
Exactly.
But
But you have to be the change, and you have to change the scenario and the mindset to help other people.
exactly. Like I would love to, if we could ever one day, once I get money set up at the shop and get money coming. One of my goals, like I've always talked about, how I'm going to open my own church. One of the mindsets of that is everybody's welcome. I don't care what you are, what your backstory of life is. You are welcome because God is here to help everybody. But my next thing of outreach is being in the Fayetteville area, and I know about how bad Fayetteville is with crime and drugs and all that. I would personally like to get groups to go out to 301.
Right.
Let's start talking to these drug dealers. Let's start talking to these streetwalkers. Let's talk to them. Let's invite them in. Let's talk to them and see if we can maybe talk them out of the lifestyle they're in.
Exactly, and that's why I've stayed out of the Planned Parenthood. I've sat there and I stood for a good 6-7 hours, just trying to. Why are you doing this? Or what are you getting from this?
Yeah, and then what can we do to change it? I mean, so many people are in the way of life that they're in because they don't have any other way out, or maybe they don't know any other way.
Right.
Like I see so much, like with the drugs scenes, a lot of druggies and drug addicts are there because their parents were there.
Yeah.
They don't know any other lifestyle. They don't know how it looks different. They know how to change.
They are not changing the foundation that has been built.
Exactly, because they don't know how.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, I got a friend, he's grew up with a lot of parental issues. He don't know how to commit. He don't know how to have a relationship. He just don't know what it looks like. So somebody like that, you need to teach him of what a family is supposed to look like.
You need to show them the way of it. If we all saw brick houses, red roofs, and green doors, that's all we would know.
Exactly.
But if I go out and I build a house that is cement and yellow roof and pink door.
With white picket fence.
Exactly. I'm changing the foundation that everyone has laid. I am changing that general curse to something different because I am the change. I am being the person who is changing the problem, and I'm going to build something else because I don't want to be the same person everybody else is.
Exactly. And we as people and Christians, we need to lose the judging. We got to quit judging people in their lifestyles. And what we need to do is help teach. Basically, all you got to do is teach them what Jesus taught. Teach them what the Bible teaches. Let them make their own changes because they're going to find the changes in the Bible. They're going to find the changes in God and in their heart. You don't have to go to them and build the house for them.
Right.
But you got to show them what it looks like.
Right.
And if they don't know what it looks like, they don't know what they're aiming for.
But you have to help build the house. Building a house is not a one-man show.
No.
You have to help lay the foundation. You have to help put up the walls. You have to help put the roof on. Because as a one person, you are not going to do it by yourself. You need others to advocate for you and keep you on the same track because it is a slippery slope to get off that track.
It is. And it's a hard slope to get back onto the right track.
Exactly. Because a man can fall 7 times, but get up only once.
Yeah, and that's the truth. The problem is we get on the wrong track, and sometimes we don't even know it. I've seen people on the wrong track, and they didn't even realize they're on the wrong track. It is so hard for you to see the road yard, and I use like racing as an example. I remember when I used to race all the time. I get in a bad wreck or something at the racetrack, and I get off the track, and people be like, "How did you get in that wreck? There's a big opening there. Why didn't you see that? Why didn't you go to the?" It's like when I was in a race car, I made the decision on what I could see with what I could see.
Right.
But later I watched video, and it's like, wow. If I looked over there and went a little high, I could have made it right through and cleared, and it would have been fine. But you don't see that when you're on the racetrack, and that's the same with
Exactly.
life. You're on your life, you're on your track, you don't see everything. Somebody from the
Right.
outside is seeing a bigger picture than what you're seeing.
Exactly.
You see what's in front of you. Somebody outside is seeing all around you and saying, "Whoa, you're
Right.
going in the wrong direction here. You need to turn right a little bit."
And when you're on that path, all the temptation is blocking every turn. Every turn you should be making to get on that right track. God's over here like, hey, there's your turn. But over here's drugs. And you're like, okay. And then you have God's over here. Here's another turn. Oh, sex. Okay, whatever. You have all these things that are blocking your possibilities of turning to the right path.
And you got the devil sitting there telling you the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Constantly.
Just turn right. Don't go over here. Just go turn right. Like,
Yep.
you're good.
And you got the devil saying, "Hey, look at this! I got some stuff for you.
Mhm.
Come this way. It's pretty."
Like a pervert with candy.
Yeah,
In a big
exactly.
white van.
Yeah, that little kitty.
Here's some candy. Let's go.
So we need to, as Christians, stop judging people because life is tough enough as it is, and we all have our problems. And I don't care who you are or where you are in your life. You're not perfect.
Right.
Nobody's perfect. We're all sinners. We're all dirty creatures. There's only one true perfect human that ever walked the earth, and that is Jesus Christ, and nobody is ever going to top that. We're all sinners. We all do wrong. We all follow the wrong path at one point in our life. And
Not just one point. We follow it many, many different times.
Yep. I know pastors that are still big sinners. And pastors are still sinners. They're human.
Yeah.
They're still making sins. They may not be as bigger sins as most people, but I know a lot of pastors making some really big sins even. We're sinners. It's not our place to judge. In reality, if you take down the church and opening your eyes to everything of the church and church leaders and pastors and the deacons and the people in the church, I guarantee you, okay, Kat, you're like blocking the camera here. I guarantee you that, sorry for the cat interruption, now you kind of a big cat coming in front too. I guarantee you that we could tear apart every church and make it burn because of the sins that happen within.
Right.
I know for a fact I've got a buddy who, he's not exactly on the right side of the river tracks, and he does a lot of dabbling and a bunch of stuff. Well, he has a friend who's a gay hooker, and he was telling me a story about how he used to be the driver for this friend who's a gay hooker, and there was a church he used to take him to where he used to have gay sex with the pastor in the church once a week. He didn't tell me the church, and I don't know what church it is, and I told him I don't want to know, blah, 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 blind eye. But that just goes to show that even pastors do wrong.
I can't turn a blind eye on that. Like, I want to know because I'm going to go there and be like, what are you doing there, sir?
I don't even want to know. We're not even going to go there. But
Nope. You ain't going to be preaching to me about the Bible says this and this and this, but you're over here getting in the butt. No. I ain't doing it.
But
Exactly.
with that is where, when it comes to it all, we are all sinners. It's not none of our places to judge others. All we can do is we can help try and guide them on the right track and bring them into the playing field of God. We're not here to be the mamas and the papas. We're not here to punish them for their wrongdoings. We're here to coach them into the right direction.
We're not here to look at their life story and pick apart what we like and what we don't like. That is not who we are.
No.
We are here to love one another and help and guide each other because, again, we cannot do this alone. We have so much crap in this world that detours us from everything. We need people in our lives to help support us and guide us and be there when we fall because it's gonna happen. And
Guaranteed.
the people I want to help me when I fall, I don't want you sitting there judging or saying, oh, look, Michaela just sat there and found cocaine and is doing cocaine and is telling everybody and judging me.
Yeah.
I need you to say,
Or
okay.
Paul and I told you so.
Exactly. I need you to sit there and be like, okay, step one, you messed up. We need to figure out how to get you back on the right track. to guide you to where you're supposed to be in life.
Yeah, and where you're supposed to be in God's eyes.
Exactly.
In God's image. And the other thing too with this, I always do this, and I've been kicked out of churches for this. I have been. Jesus Christ did not walk with perfect people. He walked with sinners.
Prostitutes.
He walked with a prostitute, thieves.
Yes.
He walked with a tax collector, liars, adulterers. He walked with a murderer.
Yep.
They were just all bad people, liars.
Stop.
He picked all the bad sins, and now he's other people.
Ah, this cat is definitely a sinner. Oh.
He picked the bad people to walk with. He did not pick the good people. He didn't pick the righteous people. He picked the most sinning people that he could find, and he said, "Hey, I want you to follow me." And you know what? He turned these people's lives around.
Exactly.
And what did they do? They wrote books, and they praised him, and they preached about him. And they all actually died a heinous death for him.
Exactly.
Because of what he taught them. I guess that cat's dirty.
He
And
just
so
wants attention.
you gotta think about this. If Jesus picked the sinners to walk with, why are not our churches doing the same? And what did Jesus fight with the most? The Pharisees. He fought with the churches. Because the churches, and he used to tell the Pharisees all the time, you are wrong. You are picking you're like judging people. You're picking righteous people to be here. You're not helping the poor. You ain't helping the sinners. There was that one time when he's going into church, and that girl, I don't remember the exact phrase of it in the Bible, but you might know it. But he's walking in that church, and that dirty lady ran up to him and got on her knees and grabbed her robe and then started grabbing his feet. And the Pharisee said, "How can you let her touch you like that if you're supposed to be a rabbi?" And he's like, "Because she's our people.
Yeah.
She's with us. Just because she's dirty does not mean we don't love her."
Exactly.
And then he went to that girl who bled, who was constantly bleeding for how many years. He healed her.
Right.
Now she's bleeding because she's an adulterer. So it's like he went and helped these people even with their sins.
He went and he was the change.
Yeah.
He was the change in their life. He was the person who changed everything that was inconsistent, and he was the consistency. He gave them something to live for. He gave them something to pursue in life.
Yep. I mean, he had dinner with the Pharisees. He had dinner with the tax collectors. He had dinners with the sinners and the saints. Yeah. He did not judge you of who you were, but if you were bad and down and whatever, he helped you most. Even on the day of his death, on the cross, he gave the two criminals on the side of him an opportunity to go to heaven. One of them took it and went to heaven, and the other one laughed at him. But he gave them both the same opportunity to go to heaven.
Right.
And that one actually praised him and said, "Hey, yeah, I did what I did, and you're still going to help me." And he said, "Yes, you're a believer. I'm going to help you." Why the other one mocked him. So the other one kind of didn't get help. We, as people and as churches, of being Christians, I don't care if you're Christian, you're Catholic, you're Jehovah, you're Mormon, whatever religion you are, we all are preaching at the same God. I don't care what. There's still the same God we're preaching at. We just have a different Messiah. Which, I hate to say it, Jesus is the only Messiah. But what we need to do as people is stop judging. We need to start accepting and start helping. If you're a church and you have a church and you're a pastor listening to this, you need to open your church up to the sinners. You need to take these sinners and you need to get them as members of the church. Put them as members. Let them be part of the worship team. Let them be part of the A-team. Let them be part of the children's church. Let them be part of the church in general. And I guarantee you're going to see a lot more change you're going to see a lot more members. You're going to see a lot more change in your church for the good. You're going to see change in these people for the good. And then you got to think about it. Once you become a member, and actually as Christians, we should be tithing anyways. Once you're a member, you have to tithe. You got more members that are tithing, which is going to build up the money in your church. So you can take that money and you can do more outreach. You can do more that you want to do of outreach and the good stuff for the community to actually get more people. When you're turning people away, you're turning away money. You're turning away opportunity for outreach. See, I don't know about you, but I know like this guy years ago, I met him because my nephew Timmy was in and out of trouble, whatever.
Right.
And I met the security guy because I got a DUI. And when I went through DUI classes, I had to go through classes, whatever. And the instructor was a prison therapist who actually was in a prison, local prison, as an inmate therapist. And me and him wound up becoming friends. I talked to him, and like he said, what got him into doing that, he was actually a drug addict and a criminal at one point.
Wow.
But he went to jail and he straightened his life out. He got a degree to become a therapist, and he decided himself he wanted to be in prisons helping people realize, hey, you're stupid. I've been there. I've lived that life. I was a drug addict. I was a criminal. I did this. I did that. I did your time. I straightened up. Now you can't. Let's straighten you out. And he used that for his momentum. And I know like a lot of people looked up to him in the prison life and actually cleaned themselves up just because of him.
Right.
Because they seen that here's a guy who was like them, who was a drug addict, who was a criminal in jail, straightened his life up. Now he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year being a therapist.
Right.
They seen that he went from the down to high, and he's doing good. And actually, he helped my nephew Timmy when Timmy was in and out of trouble. I called him, and he actually took Timmy fishing and all this, and showed Timmy, hey, look, I wasn't such a good person. I went down the road you went, and this is how I wound up, and this is what I did to get back out. But he did it with so many different criminals, and I've seen so many good changes in them. I think the church, if we took in more people like members like this, you get somebody who is a hooker, whatever, and you get them into a church and get them going, and they change their lives and they do all what they got to do. Once they get on the right path, they're gonna actually be able to help these other hookers out on the street better because they've lived their lives. They know what they're going through. They know.
Look
the
what
struggles.
look what I just found.
Yeah.
They're gonna show it off. Hey, this is my newfound Christ. This is my love. This is something I am passionate for now. And they're going to go and explain it to people and want to show them because it's something new. They want to engage in it.
And they're gonna show it. And but not only that, when they get their lives straightened out, they're gonna say, hey, look, I just like you live in hotel room to hotel room and John to John. Look. Right. I'm not living like that no more. I'm living a comfortable life with a nice husband and kids. Yes. I got the white picket fence.
I'm living safely too.
I'm living safely. I don't have to worry about who's gonna shoot me,
who's behind my back, who's following me, what is going on.
Exactly. And then you do the same with the drug addicts and you do the same with the criminals. I'm telling you, as a church, it makes us stronger.
Oh my God.
It makes us stronger as a church. And people tend to follow people they relate with. And it's not like I can go in the community with hookers and say, hey, you know what, you're doing a bad lifestyle, let me get you out. They're going to be like, what the hell do you know about my lifestyle? I don't know, so
they're going to be like, how much you making? Look how much I'm making. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, go out.
Yeah, how about more like $80, buddy? You can help me with $80. But same with the drug community, because I've never been a severe drug addict. I can talk with them and I can teach them about God, but I have no relation with them as far as their lifestyle.
That is something I've always said. You cannot go walking up to a person who has been raped or abused if you have not been raped or abused. You can, but it won't impact them as much. If you are the person who has also been raped, abused, a drug addict or something, and you go up to yet another person like that, and you go, hey, I understand what you are going through. Like, look, I have been through that. I have done that. I need you to look at where I was and now where I'm at. I can show you that I have changed and how far I have come from that.
Yeah, and then I could show you how Jesus Christ helped my life. That'd be almost like, I'll use my reference is, I'm a mechanic. That would be like some lawyer coming up to me and say, hey man, I know what you go through in your job. No dude, you don't.
No.
You sit in an air-conditioned office or in a courthouse that's air-conditioned about this. You're not out and working on a 220-degree car in 120-degree weather with no AC.
Yep.
And you're sweating, and you're dying, and then you got customers yelling at you because your car ain't done quick enough, and you got parts people that you order parts and they take
mess
5
up
hours.
and
5 hours to get the part, and then they send you the wrong part.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with the same stuff. Just like I cannot walk into a surgeon and say, "Hey, I know what you go through in that brain surgery. I know what you're going through." I can't.
Exactly.
I'm not living their life. But if you find people related to your life, you're gonna make it better. That's why we need to.
You're also
going
to have a connection because
You're gonna have a
you
bond.
realize what they're going through. Same thing. I don't believe any counselor should be a marriage counselor if you are single and never been married.
Or divorced. Well, maybe divorced. Maybe divorced because you
can
be
sit there and
divorced
say
and
I
because at least a divorced marriage counselor, they know their mistakes and what they went through to create the
if
divorce.
they know.
If they
Because some people don't know their mistakes. Some people
That's
are
true.
sitting here thinking they poop gold and barf rainbows, but
No, people think I poop money. I do know that. Everybody thinks I poop money. I wish.
alright, let's go, Mr. $100.
I wish. So with that, we're gonna not keep you guys here all night long, but just talk about judging. I'm hoping some churches see this video. I want this video to get out to churches. See, I think churches need to hear this message. Stop judging your community. Stop judging your people. Let everybody a member. It does not look bad on a church if you let a hooker become a member of the church. It does not look bad on you if you let a drug addict become a member of the church.
Now,
It
I
looks
don't
bad.
agree if they are in the children's church and they are living that lifestyle because as they are kids and so heavily influenced,
Yes.
I feel like you do need to do a degree of letting people in as a children's church
Well,
because
children's church you want to monitor a little bit. But a lot of this you got to understand. Like when it comes to the churches, you don't really know that. Like on average, you don't know their background or backstory.
but before you get membership and become a child care worker at that church, you have to get a background check.
And that's good.
Right.
You should have that. But what I'm saying is like, for instance, when I go to Rockfish, one of the members that I talk to a lot could be a freaking pedophile. I don't know it because
Right.
I don't know their back life. I don't know their life. I just know what I know what in church. So like if you get a drug addict in church, he may be a great teacher for those kids, so long as he ain't bringing his habits and teaching his habits. But so long as he's teaching God and learning about God. But here's the thing: when you get to church, you get them to clean up. You get them like obviously don't take a drug addict on the first day of church and then throw them in the children's church. You don't do that.
Exactly.
What you got to do is you got to give them time to kind of rehabilitate. You got to get them the time to adapt to the setting. I don't think you should even take somebody who's not a somebody who's not a drug addict and throw them in the children's church first day in. You got that should be earned.
There should be a relationship
There
built.
should be a levels earned. In
Yes.
children's church should be a levels earned. That should be something down the road you get in, but it's something to look forward to.
Because in the church, the children's church, they are one of our most valuable people because they are the next.
Cindy, hi Isaiah.
They are the next generation. They are the next people who are going to go out in the world and teach about the Bible.
Yeah, but you gotta these levels are earned, and I
Right.
feel that it should be levels to earn. You should not be jumped into any group the
Yes.
second you join. It should be levels earned. You need to get into the church as a member, then work from there. But we need to, as a church and as a community, as Christians, we need to get these people who are sinners
Yeah.
and get them in, because you know what? The people who are in charge of children's group right now, they're still sinners.
Yep.
They're just not drug addict sinners, or that we know of. But I mean, I have literally seen in the church people who were drug addicts, who were members, but they were closet drug addicts. The church had no clue that they were drug addicts.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are hookers in the church that the church doesn't realize that they're hookers. It's not like people air out all the open laundry, but when
I think it's their dirty laundry.
or the dirty laundry. But it's the people when you're honest, they kind of throw you. Oh, you're a hooker? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, we should be grabbing them by the throat and saying, "Get in here. You need to see this the most."
Run them like cattle.
Yep, get them in there. Because you know what? You need this the most. Maybe not let them be in part of anything vital in church, but get them in as a member. Get them into small group. Get them into worship team. Get them into small areas of the church that will help them grow, expand, and clean up. And then maybe have like children's church as like one of those higher steps.
Yeah.
Just like you're not going to take a new member and say, "Oh, Michaela, you're a new member of our church. You want to be a deacon?" You can't do that. Or we're going to make you an elder. You can't do that. But you can get them into small group. You can get them into greeting, sitting there greeting people. You can get them into worship. You can get them into little areas where they can actually feel like they're part of something. They can feel like people care about them, and then you can love on them and hopefully cure them of their illnesses and the diseases that haunt them and their sins, and get them, teach them how to lose the sins and move on. So with that, I want you to tell me what you think should be in the comment section for this week.
I think I'm going to say, I'm not going to have comment section, or maybe a little bit, but I'm going to say, what are you going to do this week to change someone's life? What are you going to go out of your way to help somebody?
I like that. I'm going to use, this is, if you, any of our followers know anybody who's like wondering about God, I don't care what form of life they're from, what their backgrounds are, what their sins are, I don't care what they're doing as far as that, but you see that they need help in their lives, and they want help, and they want, not people that, I don't want to hear about John's drug dealer down the street who don't want nothing to do with nothing. I'm talking about people who actually want out of the sin and lifestyle, or don't even have to be a major sinner, just somebody who's just in their life and they're at that point where they kind of want to believe in God, but they don't know how to. I want you to get them to get in touch with us. Get in touch with us. We will find somebody.
We challenge you to do these things. And I
Yes.
think you guys should start having a challenge section saying, okay, for this week, I challenge you to do this.
Yeah. Get them in front of us. Let me, Devin, Michaela, and I got other worship people that I can get involved that will gladly help. Talk to them on the phone. If they're distant, we'll talk to them on the phone. We'll talk to them by text. If there's somewhere in the North Carolina area where we can get to it, there's people I can get to them personally. If they're up in the Connecticut area.
And we're always down for a road trip, so.
Yeah, we can do a road trip. If they're in the Connecticut area, I do know pastors and people up in Connecticut area that will gladly go out and talk to them, and we can help them learn about what they are. I'm like personally working with 3 people right now who know that there's a supreme being, and they know that about God, but they don't know how to believe in God, and they don't know what to look for. So I'm working physically with 3 people right now on teaching them what it looks like and getting them over to seeing it, and they're already seeing stuff, and they're like, wow, never even thought of that. And they want to believe, but they just don't know how to believe. So, and they're older, well, not older, but they're in their 20s. And like they said, they want to read the Bible, but they get so lost. Well, I'm trying to teach them the Bible without them have to read every word of the Bible. Because, I mean, I read the Bible many times.
Yep.
Yes, it can get very,
it can get confusing.
Overwhelming,
and
confusing, sometimes boring. It's like, there's so many different ways. That's why I suggest to people, watch different movies. Like Netflix has Book of Matthew, Book of John, Book of...
and I really like Do You Really Know God? Or I think that's, no, Is God Really Dead?
Yes.
I'm over here.
How you gonna say? I hope you like it. Yes.
But
The movie-
God's Not Dead, I think, is a
That's a
phenomenal
great movie.
show. Like, just to show you of a man who did not believe. His wife was a believer, fully did not believe, but he was at the lowest of his life, where he felt like he had nothing, anything like that, and someone came in and was like, I can show you a different way. I can show you the way of Christ. And that is when he went and he was like, I am going to be for this. This is what I want to be for.
And and there's so much, and even you can go on, and it's free, and yes, I'm going to do it.
The Choice!
The Chosen.
Go.
The Chosen. You go on.
I jumped the gun too fast.
You go on. You download the app, The Chosen. It's free. They just finished season 2. It's phenomenal. It's different episodes. They're 45 minutes long. It's different little series of Jesus' life. Another great way. But bottom line is, come talk to me. Talk to Devin. Talk to Michaela. Give us a call. Let us know. I have people in Connecticut that I can teach you, that can help you. I got people in California. I got people right here in North Carolina, us personally. I got people in Virginia. I got people in almost every state.
Yeah.
That I can set you up with to help get you to the next step.
And most of us are up early and up late at night.
Yes.
And willing to talk pretty much any point of the day.
So contact us. We will get in contact. We will talk on the phone. We will talk by text, however they're comfortable. If they want to do in person, if it's something that one of us can directly go do it, we'll go do it. If not, I will put you in front of somebody who is phenomenal at what they do and who is very loving and caring, who will get you to the point that you need to be. And with that, I hope you all have a great night. And remember, faith over fear.